Here's a story. Can I? This is a crazy story about my dad.
I love crazy stories.
All right, I got to share this, and we'll have to turn this to a podcast because that's the only way that my parents have figured out how to listen to the show. My dad, about 2 years ago, they're in their 80s. Okay, so we had to have like what we thought was going to be this preparation around a conversation around. We need to talk about like cremation, and we need to talk about the burial, and what is that going to look like, honoring your wishes and your beliefs. So my wife and I and my kids are driving. They live in North Florida. We're driving up there, and we're like, all right, it's going to be okay. It's going to be a conversation. My dad, we sit down at the table, and he's kind of, he's late 80s. He's got some capacity, but he tells really bad jokes. Anyway, he begins to tell us, like, we haven't even started. We're like, we're preparing for it. Here, we're going to have the conversation. Dad just jumps in. And he goes, I got to tell you about the oven. I'm like, what are you talking about? So we went to the place where they cremate you.
Oh, man.
I'm like, okay. And he goes, I wanted to see the oven.
What?
I am not making this up. This is my dad.
I love your dad.
He goes, I wanted to see it. My mom is just like, she's losing her mind. She goes, this is not the conversation we're supposed to have. Dad was like, screw that. Let me tell the kids about the oven.
I love it.
And he told us a story that he wanted to see. He had the person go back, and he's like, okay, this is where we stick you.
Yeah.
And then we put half of your ashes in the backyard, and then we give other half, because if we gave all the ashes, it's a lot of ashes.
I bet it's a big bag.
It's a big bag of ashes. And he was just like, it's the greatest thing. It's like this oven. And he's telling me how hot they turn it.
He didn't ask to lay in there while he was still alive, did he?
No,
thank God.
Now, my kids, who, they've got a decent relationship with their granddad, they're like, Pop-Pop is so cool.
Yeah.
He's so awesome.
Hell yeah.
And he was like, and my mom was like, you could tell, she was like, I don't know that I'm having this much comfort with this conversation. And Dad was like, screw that. This is great. I saw the oven. I saw where they're going to burn. This is it. And I was like, okay. And then he was just like, so I just want you to know we've got it all figured out.